I'm going to say the thing that no one else in the media will say. I'm going to say the thing that no one on social media will say, because no one is giving this team a puncher's chance this weekend. But I think I'm going to. The Green Bay Packers have a very legitimate shot of beating the San Francisco 49ers. Now, what do I mean by that? The Packers and Niners play this weekend, and almost no one, and I mean no one, is giving them a shot to win. They are nearly a double-digit underdog, which I just don't get. I'm not a huge betting guy. Don't take my betting advice because I'm not going to act like I'm this huge bookie. But 10 points is a lot of points. And if I was a betting man, I would absolutely take the Packers and the points there. But that's neither here nor there. The Packers should be underdogs. But to not give them a shot, I think is absolutely insane. The Green Bay Packers defense is abysmal. It showed up really well in the first half of the Cowboys game. It showed up really well against Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs against the Minnesota Vikings, and it showed up pretty well against Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. But in the second half, the Cowboys were having their way with the Packers secondary. They completely changed up their game plan. I get it goes into a lot of prevent defenses if you're up really big. But for the most part, the Green Bay Packers defense was Swiss cheese, for lack of a better term, and pardon the pun. But they were just Swiss cheese all over, holes all over that defense. Pass rush is okay, the linebackers are and the secondary is having a real tough time covering people. Joe Barry will likely lose his job at the end of the season. And Kyle Shanahan is licking his chops. So that's the part right there where I'm just going to be honest with Packers fans and say that is going to be a steep hill to climb. Two things, though, are favoring the Packers this weekend. One, the 49ers, the second Brock Purdy takes his next snap, it will be a 3-week difference. He didn't play in the very last week. Remember, he didn't play in Week 18 against the Rams. He didn't play, obviously, in the wild card weekend. They had the bye. That's 2 weeks. By the time they play their next game, it will be nearly a month when Brock Purdy took his last snap. Rust plays a factor sometimes. I don't know if I agree with the fact of sitting your quarterback and not playing him at all in Week 18. Kyle Shanahan is a mastermind, so I'm not going to go ahead and go after him too much there. But if you remember some of those Packer runs in the playoffs, it was all about getting hot at the right time. Remember RELAX. Relax. The year the Packers, Super Bowl 51, I believe it was. They didn't go to that Super Bowl, but that's the Super Bowl year it was. They ran the table. Made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. As a lower seed, they played on the road against Atlanta in that in that NFC Championship game. It's all about getting hot. And the Packers are playing hot. So if the Packers can continue to steamroll with this offense against a 49ers defense that is good, but it's not elite at all. It's 10th in sacks, which is good. It's 15th in pass defense in terms of yards, which is middle of the pack. And then a really good rushing defense coming in at third in terms of yards. So not a great matchup for the Green Bay Packers. But again, we talked about the first thing. The Niners have been sitting for a really long time. Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy. It'll be almost a month before they take their next snap on Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. And here's another thing. I'm just going to be honest with you, 49ers fans. The Green Bay Packers have the quarterback advantage here. The better quarterback right now, and I would take to start my franchise with, and I've been on this boat longer than anyone else. I was tooting this horn before the season started. Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. Jordan Love, over his last 10 games, 11 games, if you do count, which we're going to, the last game that they just played against the Dallas Cowboys, 2,939 yards, 26 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating of 110, north of 110. It's safe to say he's dialed in right now. And before all the Brock Purdy fanboys come after me, before San Francisco 49ers fans come after me, they love to do that. They love to say I'm a Brock Purdy hater. They love to say I hate Brock Purdy. I've talked to Brock Purdy on 2 occasions. He's an incredibly nice guy, and he's incredibly easy to root for. I'm not coming after him as an actual person. We're talking about sports here, 49ers fans. I know it's hard to wrap your mind around the fact that you can separate sports from the person, but you can actually do that. Jordan Love's the better quarterback. And over the last 11 games, including the wild card game, almost 3,000 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating north of 110. Jordan Love's dialed in. And he's not doing it with the Avengers like Brock Purdy's doing it. There's no Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey. He's got a good head coach in Matt LaFleur. Brock Purdy has that too. Wash those out, even though we all know Kyle Shanahan's a better coach. Jordan Love is doing more with less than Brock Purdy. A lot less than Brock Purdy. And they're all kids. This is the youngest NFL playoff team that we've had in years. Jordan Love is just superior to Brock Purdy. He just is. I'm sorry, Niners fans. It doesn't mean you can't win a Super Bowl. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to pick you this weekend. But if you think this week's going to be a cakewalk, I would disagree with you. I do believe rust, when you sit for 3 weeks, is a little bit of a factor. Can that be knocked off in 2 series? Maybe. And the Packers defense has holes all over it. Kyle Shanahan is licking his chops. But the most important position, the Green Bay Packers have the upper hand in Jordan Love. He's been slicing. He's been dicing. And if Jordan Love goes on a complete heater this weekend, and the 49ers defense, which is not elite, it's not an elite defense, it's a good defense. It's somewhere between good and very good. But those wide receivers, the young and up-and-coming wide receivers of the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love has got them spinning and catching the ball and running it 70 yards for a touchdown. This Packers team, they're kids. If you remember the Arizona Diamondbacks' improbable World Series run, what was one of the reasons why they made it to the World Series, if you're a baseball head like I am? They just don't know what they don't know. When you're young and you're dumb and no one has warned you from the treacherous, terrifying things that come in the playoffs, you're just playing loose. All of the pressure is on the San Francisco 49ers this weekend. The Packers could get blown out by 40. It doesn't matter. It's already incredibly successful season for the Green Bay Packers. So when you add in those 3 factors, the Green Bay Packers are playing hot, and the San Francisco 49ers have been resting for 3 weeks now in some of their most important positions, like quarterback. Jordan Love is the better quarterback than Brock Purdy, has been on a heater for 11 weeks now. And then you add the fact that the Packers are playing with house money. I'm not picking the Packers to win this weekend. But if they did, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. Almost every NFL year, every NFL playoffs, there's a surprise team that really makes some noise. They've already made some noise. They're already a surprise team. This season is already a success for them. But if you're asking me to pick between Brock Purdy and Jordan Love, I'm taking Jordan Love. As much as you don't want to hear it, as much as you don't like it, the heater he's been on for 11 weeks now with way less weapons than the San Francisco 49ers, who have, 4 All-Pros this year? I think you're crazy to not take Jordan Love if you were starting a franchise off with. He's been on a heater. The 49ers could come out rusty. 3 weeks resting at very important positions, including quarterback and running back, if I'm not mistaken. And the Packers are playing with house money. They're playing loose. They're a bunch of young gun kids that don't know what they don't know that the playoffs have to offer. So although I will take the 49ers this weekend, it's the safe bet. It's the fair bet. I get it. But this is going to be a tough game for the 49ers. And if they don't come out ready to play, like the Cowboys didn't come out ready to play, there could be an upset a brewing in Santa Clara.